Coming to you live from our Auckland Park studios, this is Prime News on SABC 3. Here are the top stories making headlines this evening.
Still a shock, big shock. I was talking to the guy earlier. Well, last night we recorded our last episode for our podcast.
Radio DJ, broadcaster and businessman Warwick Stock, popularly known as DJ Waras, has been shot and killed in Johannesburg earlier today. 4 people have been killed in a crash involving a light motor vehicle and a tanker on the N3 at Freya interchange between Escort and the Tugela River.
This year we return to this place not to reopen old wounds.
President Cyril Ramaphosa has called on all South Africans to remind themselves of the principles on which South Africa's democracy was built. That's reconciliation and unity. Good evening. You're now tuned into Prime News on 3. A warm welcome. My name is Paulette Nell. Thank you so much for joining us this evening as we go through the day's developments. Beginning first with this rather sombre story. Police are investigating the murder of radio DJ, broadcaster and businessman Warwick Stock, popularly known as DJ Waras. He was gunned down in the Joburg CBD after 3 unknown suspects opened fire on him shortly after he parked his vehicle. Waras launched his career at YFM in the late 2000s. Thereafter, he joined 5FM, where he hosted the youth-driven show The Fifth Element and also co-presented the popular music program Live Amp on SABC 1. No arrests have been made.
Still a shock, big shock. I was talking to the guy earlier. Well, last night we recorded our last episode for our podcast, but we were chatting like we always do. Yeah, man, it's a shock. You know, the family's still trying to piece everything together. We're still on the site, obviously still in investigation, but extremely sad. Like you explained, he's a ball of energy, an amazing gent. I can't even put it in the past tense to say was, you know. Opinionated, but a solid gent, you know, loving father to his kids, Like you said, great broadcaster. He had an amazing stint at YFM. He was at 5FM as well. We had ventured into podcasting for about the last 2 years. Also just a great businessman as well. He had other ventures, which is security. All of the events that I did, he did the security for me. Great mind, strategic mind.
President Cyril Ramaphosa has called on all South Africans to remind themselves of the principles on which South Africa's democracy was built. That's reconciliation and unity. The National Day of Reconciliation event was held in KwaZulu-Natal at the Ncome Museum in Ngutu. It is also the site of the Battle of Blood River, where on the 16th of December 1838, 4 trackers defeated the AmaZulu forces.
The Battle of Blood River was fundamentally about land disputes and was triggered by Dingaan's massacre of Voortrekkers. Voortrekkers migrated during the Great Trek and sought land in the then Natal, which belonged to the AmaZulu kingdom under King Dingaan. After the battle, the Voortrekkers would go on to celebrate December the 16th as a religious day of the vow, previously also known as Dingaan's Day. In 1994, with the advent of democracy, former President Nelson Mandela decided to retain the public holiday status but officially rename it as the Day of Reconciliation. The intention was to symbolically bridge the divided past by acknowledging the significance of the date for the descendants of the Voortrekkers and the AmaZulu forces. This is an effort to foster national unity, healing and forgiveness after the dismantling of apartheid.
We have sought to do away with symbols that divide us. This year we return to this place not to reopen old wounds. but to reaffirm our promise to future generations that South Africa shall never again be divided by hatred, by injustice, by discrimination, and by exclusion.
Meters away from the national commemoration, hundreds of white Afrikaans-speaking people commemorated the day at the Blood River Monument. Despite the different interpretations of the day, a call has been made for South Africans to demonstrate the spirit of Ubuntu.
We wish to recognize and support you all as participants in a shared future and a constructive attitude, and we expect to be recognized as such as well.
Ramaphosa says the Day of Reconciliation is not about forgetting the past, but about healing the wounds of the past to build a better future together, for the dignity of all citizens. For SABC News, I am Jade Paulser in Mutu.
Meanwhile, various political parties have weighed in on the day. Some parties argue that a true reconciliation cannot come to fruition as long as what they call apartheid crimes are unaccounted for and those dispossessed of their land are not compensated.
To celebrate under these conditions dishonors the sacrifices of our ancestors who gave their lives in pursuit of justice, humanity, and self-determination.
The message of the EFF on this Day of Reconciliation is clear. Until apartheid crimes are fully prosecuted, until victims receive meaningful truth and justice, and until land and economic power are returned to the people, reconciliation will remain a false promise imposed on the oppressed.
PAC leadership was given a fresh mandate at its National Congress in Kabeja a few days ago to unite the people. There is no better way to reconcile than to first unite among ourselves as compatriots, and the rest shall follow.
Who continue to believe in our democracy and who use their voice and their vote to build a better future.
So these efforts to try to divide South Africans needs to be confronted head on, and those that are spreading lies and misinformation about our country needs to be confronted and needs to be named and shamed.
When we return, 4 people have been killed in a crash involving a light motor vehicle and a tanker on the N3 at the Frey interchange between Escort and the Tugela River. Thank you for staying with us. To this now, 4 people have been killed in a crash involving a light motor vehicle and a tanker on the N3 at the Frey interchange between Escort and the Tugela River. The Road Traffic Inspectorate in KwaZulu-Natal says 4 occupants in the car were killed when the driver apparently lost control and the car collided with a tanker. Officials have opened parts of the N3 towards Johannesburg for traffic to move past the scene, but there is a heavy build-up of traffic already. To this now, the presidency of South Africa has chimed in on what has been dubbed as the Starlink directive, stating that President Cyril Ramaphosa will endorse a process that is within the law. This as Communications and Digital Technologies Minister Solly Malatsi's recent directive has seemingly raised the ire of the ANC and the Deputy Minister Mondli Gugumbele.
Minister Solly Malatsi's recent directive to the Independent Communications Authority of South Africa, ICASA, which requests the telecoms regulatory body to effectively relax the requirements for compliance over transformation policies for new entrants such as Starlink, has raised the temperature of the ANC and Malatsi's deputy, Mondli Gugumbele, who seemingly describe it as an attempt to circumvent the law outside of democratic processes. The presidency, however, seemed to hold a different view.
What the minister is doing is within the law, which we must emphasize, within the law, is to look at what can be done to accelerate those processes, right? As you know, the law is quite clear with respect to the local ownership element for those seeking to be licensed as telecommunications and network services providers. And so that's what the minister is doing.
While the president is aware of this process, Magwenya adds that the president would not endorse a subversion of the law. Magwenya further cautioned the public to not center these processes just on Starlink, which is owned by Elon Musk, a businessman of South African origin, that has played a role in spreading false narratives of South Africa's laws and the so-called quote-unquote persecution of white Afrikaners. All eyes are now on the regulatory body, ICASA's next move. Kani Mapanga, SABC News, Pretoria.
Bafana Bafana beat Ghana 1-0 in a farewell match played at the Dobsonville Stadium in Soweto ahead of the team's departure to the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco. Details coming up after the break. Welcome back. We're going back to our lead story where police are investigating the murder of radio DJ, broadcaster and businessman Warwick Stock, popularly known as DJ Waters. He was gunned down in the Johannesburg CBD after three unknown suspects that is opened fire on him shortly after he parked his vehicle. For more on this, we are now joined by Joburg MMC for Community Safety, Dr. Mgcini Mchwagu. Good evening, Doc. Thank you so much for making time for us this evening.
Good evening, madam, and good evening to your listeners as well. Quite very busy, just getting information.
I can imagine.
As you're speaking. So, yes, to verify information back and forth.
Let's get straight into it then, Doc. In light of the tragic death of DJ Waters, as we've heard earlier, he was shot while evicting illegal occupiers of a hijacked building. On your end, MMC, has any information come to light so far?
At this point in time, madam, is the DJ Waters there's the information coming in from the undercover unit. He was part of the security guys who are assisting Hijacked to assist the building owners to evict people there. But this why he was not evicting at this point in time. He was with the owner. That's what I'm made to believe at this point in time. And they went to view a place. It is alleged that his company, the company that was probably owned by his father, now he has inherited. So he's part of assisting very actively, which is a noble cause, assisting these owners with their hijacked building in the city. So he was, I can say, killed in the line of duty. So when you start venturing in terms of this reclaiming these buildings, you get into an underworld hijacked building war. There is a turf war that is going on there. There are two syndicates that are really fighting over those buildings. So if you've got a company or you got individuals who are going to disturb their cash flow, then you become a target.
Well, on that point, Doc, can you clarify the role of private security companies in such operations? Basically, are they allowed to conduct them?
So what happens is that the security are being used by the building owners just to secure these buildings while they are in court, getting the eviction orders. So when the eviction is out, it is given to the sheriff, and then the sheriff works with SABC, JMPD, with SABC, Public Order Police, JMPD, Public Order Police, and the security company just come in and accompany us. They are working they just become a force multiplier, but they don't do anything. So at this point in time, we believe that the company that is sort of managed by DJ Waters was guarding a building called Zambezi. Very notorious building, been hijacked. Drug dealers are staying there, but the owner has been wanting to reclaim that building. So they were doing an oversight. That is what I'm made to believe now. So what happens is that you've got informers there, you've got information running all the way. So these people, their first prize is to assassinate the owner so that they can continue benefit from the building. So we believe that there was a tip-off that they are going to be around the area, so it was a wrong place at a wrong time. So to us, it looks like it was a hit directed at the owner part. They actually found them in the car and all of that. So that's why now the guys are gathering information. I'm talking to some of the security companies operating, so they are busy as well, just clarifying this information. A 24-hour APP has been issued to the JMPD TRU, and also I was going to be talking to the K9 unit under Sub Mohammed to go and check the whole night. Let's ransack the area just to check in terms of what is happening in the building, the motive, and who did that as well. So we are on top of that. We should be having something at least that our public will sort of understand what has been going on, because in the investigation, Madam, you need to ask a question. Who is this person? What was he doing there? What is the motive? And start gathering that information to really understand in terms of the incident that is really happening. That is what we are on top of it now.
And there seems to be quite a bit of speculation. Can you please maybe shed some light as to is there anyone that's allowed to own and rent a unit in a hijacked building? What are the bylaws on this, and what do they say?
No, you can't do that. Okay. You can't. The modus operandi in the city. How the building gets hijacked is that, let's say I'm the owner of a building, and I decided to relocate to overseas, or I give it to and then I give it to a management company, or even if I'm from here, and then I pass on, and there's no information that is going to the tenants that I passed on. So management companies, they take over those buildings illegally. They continue to benefit in terms of those rent that are happening. And then I will find out, as a syndicate or as a thug in the city, that no, this management company is collecting in this place and is not the owner. The owner has passed on. Of course, there have been allegations that the deeds office is getting manipulated and other areas in the CPC to change the ownership of the person. So people change the ownership of the building. They come in and just say that, we are the new management, you shall pay to us. So we've got some of the banking details in the rates that we've done. We've investigated them. We do the lead. For example, the hijacked house in Bryanston. We got a tip off that is what is happening. We got this bank account tracing to some guy in who's living a high life in some Sentin area. So it's not legal to actually do that. So hijackers, they start to shoot each other.
Yes.
In the next program, we will tell you about the hijacker of the Bramfontein, who was also involved in the reclaiming of the building. Another Italian guy killed at the JP. He was owning 13 buildings, collecting rent as well.
MMC.
So this, if you start being there, if you start being operating the building, then you become a target.
MMC, apologies to cut you short. We can go on for much longer, but unfortunately, time is not on our side. Much gratitude for chatting to us this evening. And that was MMC for Community Safety, Dr. Joburg MMC, rather, for Community Safety, Dr. Mgrini Chwaku, speaking to us about what took place earlier. Now, here is the latest market update that's as recorded at 8 o'clock tonight. And in your world of sports, Bafana beat Ghana 1-0 in a farewell match played at the Dobsonville Stadium in Soweto. That's ahead of the team's departure to the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco. After a goalless first half, Bafana upped the ante and the second half with midfielder Masterchef Sipombule scoring the goal that sealed the win.
The Masterchef, Harmonia Africa Bora. ka inyoretswe sa khakhatha setofo le go kwa phele ba bua ka mensa o tla ba go pela the rock of Gibraltar ba botsa pelita kwa tebola motsamekonga ha re bone jala go tswa ka prince ba kitla phula le botha kwa morago fela ntse mo ka ronya khotse ba kwa ba Afrika Borwa simple chain Sikuto.
And the referee finally decides that's it. So Bafana go to AFCON on the back of a 1-0 win in this friendly match between the two rivals who've been rivals for many, many years on the African continent. It's MasterChef's master goal.
Time now for the latest from the weather desk. Let's get an update on what the weather has in store for us in terms of temperatures.
Thank you very much and a very warm welcome to the weather desk. Time for us to look at those conditions over the country. We're still expecting a rainy night over most of South Africa. We're talking up to 80% chance of showers, and thunderstorms showers as we move to the interior of the Eastern Cape, becoming scattered as we move towards the Northern Cape. Isolated over Gauteng, Limpopo and parts of KwaZulu-Natal. Cold front over Cape Town tonight, and also for tomorrow we'll be dropping temperatures over the southern parts of the country, still causing a 30% chance of showers and rain over the mother city. Moving towards the central parts of the country, up to 60% chance of showers and thunder showers still expected, becoming widespread over KwaZulu-Natal, stretching into parts of the Eastern Cape, and also just isolated over Polokwane, stretching all the way into Seshego and moving towards Musina and also Palaboro for tomorrow. Looking at our conditions for tonight, we're still expecting up to level 2 warning of severe thunderstorm as we move towards that interior of the Northern Cape, stretching into parts of the Free State and also parts of the Eastern Cape, and also moving towards that interior of the Free State, stretching towards the northwards for tomorrow. Those severe thunderstorms still expected. It is still a level 2, but we're expecting a level 5 warning of severe thunderstorm as we move into that interior of KwaZulu-Natal, same area where we had that 80% chance of showers and thunder showers. Remember, significant impact is expected over that interior because of persistent rainfall, meaning flooding is possible. So please, let's be careful for tonight and also for tomorrow. Temperature wise for tonight, it is going to be a relatively cool night over most of the country. We're talking 11 over Sunderland, 21 over Upington, Vryburg and Kimberley dropping down to 18, 15 over Polokwane, Durban will be dropping down to 24. Looking at our conditions for tomorrow, it is going to be a hot day over Richards Bay, stretching into Pietermaritzburg for tomorrow with that 80% chance of showers and thunder showers expected for tomorrow. Moving into the interior, it is going to be a warm day, especially over Johannesburg with a high of 25. Hot conditions over Musina with a high of 36. Those hot conditions persisting as we move towards Upington with a high of 32. Cape Town at a maximum of 23. Also expecting warm conditions over Kimberley and also Vryburg, with Vryburg peaking at 27. Cold front branching the southern parts of the country, so relatively cool conditions for tomorrow. And also it is going to be a windy day, especially over Gqeberha, stretching all the way into East London, with East London expecting a warm day with a maximum of 23. That's all the weather I have for you. Stay tuned.
That's it from us for tonight. Much gratitude for joining us. Let's meet again next time. For now, it's good night. God bless. Pula.